What happens if a situation arises that you were unprepared for? A situation such as a blizzard, a tornado, or being locked down due to a virus. Put yourself in any possible situation that could arise. Now ask yourself, what would you do? Where would you go? What do you need? Are you ready? Because what if tomorrow? Welcome to the What If Tomorrow podcast. I'm Philip.
Not Mark.
And tonight, we're back. We've been gone for a couple weeks. We've had some personal things going on. I think the last show you guys did was you, Pam, and Jess, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Mark?
it was a couple weeks ago. On the Fringe.
Yeah, so it's been a couple weeks ago. Last week kind of fell through. We had the holiday. We didn't get quite the research done that we wanted for tonight's topic. And the week prior, like I said, we had some personal things going on. My son, he was kind of in and out of the hospital for a few days. So, obviously that takes precedent. First things first, a word from our affiliate.
Hey, this is Mark with What If Tomorrow and What If Tomorrow on the Fringe. Be sure to check out our website, whatiftomorrowmedia.com, and look at our cool merch. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, posters, and more. Our affiliates are Duke Cannon, EMP Shield, My Patriot Supply, and Conflicted the Game. Or check out buymeacoffee.com/whatiftomorrow and buy us a coffee. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and share on both Facebook and YouTube. It helps get our content out to others and help our channel grow. Now on with the show.
Yeah, see, we got Enzo in the chat. How's it going, man? We kind of chatted beforehand. Yeah, we're doing good. My son, he's doing well. Just kind of, it was a scare more than anything. He's doing well now. More of a major migraine. It was caused by some meds he was on. He went through, got poked and prodded, all that good stuff, and now he's back home. He's up in Wichita. He's back home resting, going to school, doing that thing. Yeah, so tonight, first off, we want to kind of remember today, 22 years ago. I know most of us who were around then kind of remember where we were at, what we were doing. And I think it's one of those days that for those of us that lived it, it will always be a somber day.
It was a rough. It was a rough year.
It absolutely was. I was in Australia when it happened, and I'll never forget what we were doing and the things that were accomplished. And I know I've covered it before on the show because we try to do this every year on 9/11. At least pay tribute. I can't even talk. Pay tribute to it. But now, the more I look back on it. Sure. I'm not trying to discount or take anything away from the day. But on 9/12, we woke up to a different world. And it was hopeful at the time.
Yeah.
And people came together. They prayed together. They hugged. They talked. People came together. They woke up for a split second.
There for a while, there was no right, there was no left. It was just, we're Americans and we're going to stand together. And somewhere along the line, they pulled us apart on purpose, I believe. But somewhere along the line, we got pulled apart. And I don't know if we can pull together like that again. That was.
If you look, and it saddens me, it really does, because we all experienced what we could be. The day after 9/11 and the weeks following. That's what makes me so sad about it. sure, the lives lost is terrible. I'm not trying to discount that, and I hope nobody
almost
takes me at that.
3,000 people. 2,977, I believe, is the exact number, but just call it 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Not counting the people who've died from cancer and health-related issues from that day.
Right.
So,
yeah. You're absolutely right. Enzo said the patriotism that sprouted up immediately lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. It shouldn't take a catastrophe like that to bring us together. And unfortunately, and I'm not trying to make light of anything, but unfortunately, the powers that be don't want us to pull together.
No, they really don't.
And I mean, and that goes back, 20 years ago, because people were behind everything going on 20 years ago. Like you made the comment backstage, Mark. I mean, you were ready to nuke everything, make it glass.
Yeah, it was a good idea that I was never the president and never will be, because I would have nuked whoever I thought was responsible for it. And even today, I would still nuke the city they were in. So don't ever put me in charge. It's a bad idea.
My squadron, like I said, we were in Australia. We're a special operations qualified, certified F-18 squadron. And we're the only one in the region at the time. So if the balloon went up, we were gone. We were 12 hours from Afghanistan. And you talk about some angry people, man. I mean, we were pissed. We were on deployment. It was a normal 18-month rotation, but this happened while we were there. And we were ready for war. We're like, let's do this.
Yeah.
This is what we get paid to do.
That's how we all were. We were ready. I mean, let's find out who did this and let us make them wish they had never, ever been born.
Right.
Let's make them wish that their grandparents had never been born.
Right. And then, unfortunately, it got political.
Yes.
And that's where the nosedive started. And I'm ashamed to say that when the Patriot Act came about, I was all for it. Not realizing what it truly was. And I think that's the majority of the people. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I want to remember the day. I want to remember the lives lost. It's just, I think we need to pay tribute every year. Like we were saying, Mark, I mean, you now know high schoolers that don't know what 9/11 was.
Yeah. It's sad.
It is. And I feel it is our responsibility as the people that lived through that to teach the next generations what happened. My oldest son, he was a month shy from being a year old. So he don't even have the memory of it. He don't know what happened.
Yeah. My son wasn't born yet. My daughter was just a little girl. I do have a VHS tape with the entirety of the special that came on a few months later that was for mature audiences only, because it showed people hitting the ground. And the thing that got me was the sound when they hit. I have that recorded in its entirety, and I need to get it converted to DVD or something, because I think it's important to keep that for posterity, because we couldn't air it today. The people would just go nuts. Oh, that's terrible. But at the time, it was one of the things that helped bring us together. I mean, we were united as a people. Black, white, red, green, blue, polka dot, whatever. We were Americans. We were going to stand together, come what may. And it makes me want to cry a little bit that, we've let them separate us like that.
Yep. Chris, she said she was getting ready for a doctor's appointment to find out when Noah was going to be taken. And Sarah was 3. They don't know that, they don't know our lives pre 9/11, and they don't. And aside from the conspiracy theories and stuff on 9/11, I don't know what to believe on them. I'm on the fence. I really am about a lot of them. I can see I can see both sides.
Some of them are just too far out there.
But I don't want to. Right. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole today. I mean, it's just part of the conversation now. It's in the dialect, and it's something that we just need to remember, because that was the biggest phrase of the time. Never forget, never forget, never forget. But look at us, 22 years later.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all but forgotten.
It is. I've still got those badges said, Mark, in my photos.
Like you said, I mean, you can't even play the clips anymore because it's too violent.
Oh yeah, they'll shut you down.
I'm a firm believer. They need to play them. They need to play them. They need to show what happened on that day.
Yeah, every year in school, they ought to show freshmen or seniors or whatever grade that they think needs to see it. They ought to show them that special that I've got recorded, just saying this is what can happen.
Yeah. We didn't get to see a lot where I was at. It was about 11:30 at night, and we were working on an airplane. Long story short, and our quality control guys, or one of our quality assurance guys, comes out and said, "Man, did you hear about this guy? Hear about this plane hitting one of the towers, the Twin Towers?" And at first, we were all thinking, is it? We asked him, is it a Cessna? Is it something small? What?
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly what I asked. Heard. Yeah.
And he hadn't heard either. And about that time, the second one hit, and we're like, oh crap, here we go. And not 5 minutes later, we get a call over radio, get all your stuff together. We have a formation up at the barracks. And we stood in formation for a long time, for a while. The CO was explaining to us, hey, this is what happened. This is what's going on. We broke up, and he's trying to find out. You have 24 hours to contact your family. Let them know you're okay. All the TVs are being pulled out of the barracks. All the phones are going to be pulled out of the barracks, and you'll be on a need to know basis from this point forward. So I remember that phone call home, and I called my wife. I'm like, listen, I said, I'm only allowed to tell you that I'm okay. I don't know where we're going, if we're going anywhere. I can't tell you that. But all I can tell you right now is I'm okay. And that was it. That was kind of the whole conversation, because I had guys behind me lined up to call home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It
was an awful day.
It was. It was. And rightfully so. We were all angry together at something other than each other. Now we're so split down the middle that we're always angry at each other.
We're not even split down the middle. It's like they're trying to break us up into smaller and smaller groups.
Rich versus poor, black versus white, Republican versus Democrat, you name it.
Yeah. And that's not right. We're Americans. We need to stand together as Americans.
Right. And we need to be Americans first. No.
We need to be a community.
Anywhere they can. Exactly. We do. Anyway, speaking of community, we'll roll on with tonight's topic. That was the highlight of the show, guys. So if you want to hang out, great. If not, I understand.
So the rest of the show is probably going to be all crazy and convoluted and make very little sense, just like me.
Right. I mean, we're kind of behind the curve because of a few missed shows, but recently in the news, a school in Georgia has come out saying that they are going to reinstate mask mandates for the vid, and that's what I will call it. That's what I will call it, just because of YouTube censors, all that good stuff. There has been a surge of a new variant called Eris, ERIS. If you knew that, if you know what's Eris, go look up what Eris is. This is my conspiratorial mind working right now. Everybody knows how I think. So I'll pull it up. But that leads to question, are there going to be more mask mandates? Are there going to be lockdowns? There is a surge, hey, Jess.
You're not lame. You're the bestest.
You're not. All right. Now this is me. I don't know what you would call it, but the definition of Eris, she's the Greek goddess of strife and discord. Is that not fitting? I mean,
wasn't it also lust too?
Maybe.
I think so. She had her fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah, I could be. But it just blows my mind. Yeah, he says if we're going to lockdowns and mask all over again, I'm moving down to Caney.
Dude, move down here. I will help you find a house, sir.
I just found that odd when they announced the name of this new strain called Eris, that it just so happens to be the goddess of discord and all that stuff. That's my little caveat for tonight, or one of my first trips down the rabbit hole. I'll say that. But so we know they're talking mask mandates. Looking at the research, okay. I mean, we've all heard, well, masks don't work, and then you hear other quote unquote professionals saying, "Oh, they work. We need to wear them," and all that. I've looked at several different studies, and it's about 50-50 saying, well, masks work, masks don't work. So it really depends on what part of the political spectrum you're on and what you agree with and how you use them.
Nobody used them right. That's why they didn't work.
Right. Nobody, and you guys know how I think. So I'm talking both sides this go around, and that's where I was kind of leaning at this show. I don't want to send misinformation out there, because if it does turn out to be really bad, which scientifically, when a virus mutates, it makes it weaker. So the question is, if it gets worse, why? That would be my first question. But most of the mass studies that I read, it's 50-50, several for, several against. So I can't say either way. For the longest time, I would say masks do not work. They don't work. I mean, look at this study. I didn't do the deep dive like I did.
Yeah. No, I will. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I said I will make the comment, though. Those people with weakened immune systems who don't need to be catching anything probably ought to be wearing a mask anyway, because of the flu and the cold and everything. But when you wear a mask, there's things to remember. One, a cloth mask does 0% good. The gaiters and all that stuff, 0%. Paper masks, 1%. N95 is about 50% effective. 50% is enough to make that worth it. But you have to change it every 20 minutes. And every time you touch your face, you have to change your mask and wash your hands. Otherwise, you're doing nobody any good. So if you feel you need one, and some people do because they're just that susceptible, look up how to properly use one and how to properly sanitize yourself and follow the directions. Don't do it the way we were doing it. Do it correctly. Use the N95. You've got a 50% or so possibility of doing some good. That being said, on with the show.
Yeah, so dang it, I've retyped a sentence several times, and there's no way to do it without getting you in trouble with YouTube. Well, I don't. If we don't read it, I think we're good. If it's in the comments, I think we're good.
Yeah, as long as we don't share it.
But yeah, and I'm being transparent. Okay, guys, you guys know, again, if you listen to the show, you know which way I lean and my beliefs. But I'm just being transparent. In the research, it's pretty well 50-50. I can't say whether it does or doesn't. I see the benefits in the aspect of, saliva and stuff like that when you're coughing or sneezing or whatever. I see the benefits of that being contained, but the actual virus is going to filter through. Now, if we go back and look at the kids during, 2021, 2020, during the first initial lockdowns and all that affected the kids supremely. Right. You're right. I think you're right, Enzo. I can't really, I don't want to read into it because I think you'll be all right, but I'm not going to risk it. If you guys want to know what he says, come over to YouTube, check out the comments. But it affects especially younger kids. My youngest son was in kindergarten when all this kicked off, unfortunately. And that effect, I don't know.
There was a lot of psychological damage.
Yes, there was, because kids, especially younger kids, are taking cues off of other people's facial expressions. They're learning how to speak quickly. It's not just sound. I mean, they see how the voices, the words are formed coming out of your mouth and all that. So that caused some damage there. I hated wearing them. Yes, you're absolutely right, Enzo. Today's kids are already a mess. The lockdown's only compounded it. Yes, you're absolutely right. So, can I see mask mandates coming? I think it's a possibility. Okay. Lockdowns, I'm not sure. Go ahead, Mark.
I don't really think we're going to see any widespread lockdowns, maybe a few smaller ones that have severe outbreaks, say nursing homes or something like that. But there have been a few isolated cases of mask mandates. If he was going to ask me how things are going to go, I would say we will continue to see isolated here and there mask mandates, some of which may or may not be effective or called for. Now, if you came out and told me right now that the swine flu was going to go around like the V word did, CV word, I would be locking myself in the bathroom and not coming out for 6 months. I had the swine flu. I will not go there. So, I mean, I can see it. I don't think we're going to see it widespread. I think, like I said, I think it's just going to be isolated instances, some which may or may not be warranted, you know.
Right. And I've seen a few here, Enzo, too. Said when I was in California earlier this year, I was shocked at the number of people still wearing their mask out in public. It's a cult. You know, and the number of people that support it, the mandates and the lockdowns and all that, is shocking to me, because I read a lot of comments. I've done a lot of looking at a lot of these articles and stuff, and they're like, well, we need a lockdown. They're scared of it. And respectfully, I mean, I understand the fear. I mean, I lost a brother to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand that. I understand, but we cannot live in fear. That's what the powers that be want. I believe they want us scared. They want us to lay down. And I'm encouraged by the number of people I've seen say, no, this isn't going to happen again. I will not comply.
Well, I'm seeing that from quote unquote both sides of the aisle. Whatever your political affiliation, a lot of people are just saying, nah, I got it anyway. Why the hell would I put myself through that again?
Right. Chris says, what kills me is seeing people in their own vehicles by themselves wearing a mask. Yeah.
Or with a hole cut in it so they can smoke a cigarette. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the videos of like bands and stuff, like orchestras, and they've got the mask, the 2-piece mask where they can put the instrument in their mouth and play music and all that? I'm like, that defeats the purpose.
Say what?
Absolutely defeats the purpose.
I don't think these things work the way you think they do.
Yeah. But as for lockdowns, I don't know. I mean, it's still too early to tell. There's a lot of speculation out there saying that we're being set up, and all. I mean,
there is a lot of speculation.
Yeah, because people don't trust it. They don't trust the information out there, and I'm one of them. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, I don't. I put together my own opinion.
Right, and unfortunately, I believe that's what is the true goal. Is they don't want anybody to trust anything, because if that's the case, you stay divided. But real quick, I'm gonna try to say this without vomiting. I pulled this article off of NPR.
Oh God.
So, exactly. I had to say it fast.
Although I've got to say, even a broke clock is right twice a day. So let's just hear it, Bill.
Right.
Maybe they're right.
Well, in all fairness, okay, I wanted to pull articles from both sides. So I'm just being fair, okay?
I used to listen to NPR. Don't hold it against me.
It says this is August 31st. As U.S. COVID hospitalizations rise, some places are bringing back mask mandates. No, sir, I won't. Enzo said, so if the grocery stores and Walmart say you need to wear a mask, are you going to shop there? No, sir, I won't.
I don't go into Walmart now. I get pickup because I don't want to get my fat ass out of the car. It's not because I'm worried about any diseases. I'm just fat.
Excuse me. And this article says U.S. is seeing late summer spike in vid cases, prompting some schools, hospitals, and businesses to encourage or even require people to start masking up again. Most recent CDC and prevention data from earlier this month showed nationwide vid hospitalization increased by nearly 19% in a single week, and deaths by more than 21%. CDC Director Mandy Cohen said Tuesday that recently up to 10,000 people a week have been hospitalized with the vid, but she added that far fewer than 4,000 or 40,000 such hospitalizations a week the U.S. had at its highest point last August. We're in a much different and better place in August of 2023. We have stronger immunity and tools to protect ourselves. We have vaccines, at-home tests, effective treatments, and common sense strategies like washing your hands and staying away from people when you're sick. Still, Cohen cautioned the vid remains risky for people who are unvaccinated. Here we go. The risk is especially high for unvaccinated individuals who have not gotten the virus or have not gotten the virus before, and those who are older or have underlying health conditions. About 70% of the hospitalizations are among those who are 65 and older, she added. Public health officials have their eye on two new variants. The Omicron variant, EG.5, nicknamed Eris, has become dominant in the U.S., while the BA.2.86 is starting to spread. I haven't looked at that one. Early reports show Eris may be more transmissible than other variants, though it doesn't appear to cause more severe disease. And the CDC warned last week that the BA.2.86 may be more capable of causing infection than people who have previously had COVID virus or vaccines. They don't believe it's causing more severe illness either. So is this a red herring?
I don't know. And it may be just something that they put out there to see what people's reaction would be to see if they can still pull it off.
Kind of a test.
I can save tens of thousands of lives every year with the next statement I am about to make. And this is actually a law that I would actually support. If you are running a fever and you report that you are running a fever to work, your work should tell you to be gone,
stay home
until your fever is gone, and we will not count it against it. We do need you to go to the doctor and get, tested or whatever. Give us proof that you've got a fever, and we're not gonna count it against your attendance.
Right.
If we would do that one single thing, don't leave the house if you've got a fever, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people every year would not die from illness. It's very simple. It would be very easy to take care of. There would be no need for lockdowns. There would be no need for mask mandates. If you've got a fever, do not leave the house until it's gone. When I was working at the school, I saw so many parents send their kids to school with a fever, knowing they had a fever, and wondered why everybody got sick. That is where I got the swine flu. And let me tell you, the swine flu made the vid look like a stubbed toe. There is no comparison. No comparison whatsoever. I have never been sicker. And I would rather die than get the swine flu again. I'm just going to say it. All right, I'm done. I've just saved thousands of lives.
That's all right. Enzo said he thinks it's a test balloon to see if people are going to get pissy about it, and we are. Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Nope. I said, honestly, it should be like that even if the COVID or C-19 never happened.
It should always have been like that, yes.
Yeah. And you're only going to you're only going to get all your workmates get sick too. Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing is stay away. I mean, there's some people out there that go to work, they don't want to burn their time or whatever. Running fevers, hacking, coughing, sneezing. I mean, I don't know. I'm of the mind anymore. I just stay home. I don't feel good. I'm not coming in. And luckily, where we work, they're pretty understanding about that. I've never.
You got the time,
Yeah, I've never heard a complaint about it. I've never heard anything about it.
Well, they don't want everybody else sick either.
Right. I mean, that you lose productivity that way. Okay, so let's see. Do we want? Okay, here we go. Now this is Washington Washington Examiner. Okay, this is more of the right-leaning publication. Title, and I think it's a commentary. Says, "Be prepared. Biden is setting the stage for another round of vid lockdowns." Okay, Real quick, says President Joe Biden is gearing up to declare yet another round of vid emergencies, and he is setting the stage for more vaccine mandates to go along with it. Biden announced that he's going to ask Congress for more funding for a new vid vaccine. Or me start that over. It says Biden announced that he's going to ask Congress for more funding for the new VidNet vaccine. What was wrong with the previous vaccines? Here's what Biden himself had to say. Emphasis mine. This is the author. He said, I signed off this morning on a proposal. We have to present to Congress a request for additional funding for a new vaccine that is necessary, that works. So the vaccines that are Biden attempting to force on you or onto you through your employer and did force on members of the military, despite promising that there would be no vaccine mandate, apparently did not work, according to Biden. That sound you hear is hundreds of conspiracy theories about the vid vaccines exploding to the surface once again, all because Biden needs them to be a failure so he can continue to push his agenda. It isn't hard to see the game plan being prepared by Biden in the White House. The vid vaccines were effective at protecting vulnerable people from dying or being hospitalized with the vid, but Biden needs vid to be an emergency again so that he can continue to push through his agenda on other unrelated topics, such as student loan debt amnesty, and therefore Biden and his team are not going to use the vid or are going to use the vid case numbers as a marker of whether the virus is an emergency or not. Given that we know that the vid vaccines do not prevent people from transmitting or contracting the virus, and that's proven.
They've admitted that.
Another promise Biden made that wasn't true. This means that Biden is going to throw us into another vid emergency because those vaccines are failures and we need a new vaccine that works. In Biden's view, anything that doesn't prevent the vid, even among people who are not at serious risk from the virus, is going to be something that doesn't work. I'll just go ahead and finish it. It's only a couple other paragraphs. In other words, we're going to have to slow the spread, quote unquote, of the virus all over again. Any combination of the terrible lockdowns, mandates, and school closures that were imposed during the 2-year nightmare of the pandemic response is going to be on the table, all because Biden wants an excuse to bypass Congress with emergency declarations. There will be Democratic politicians and healthcare bureaucrats who dutifully follow along with this destructive plan and begin imposing restrictions on everyday life. Some schools are already doing so with the green light from Biden. Republicans at all levels must immediately begin pushing back on this because a return to any pandemic's new normals, quote unquote, for any reason, let alone for Biden's domestic political agenda, is unacceptable. So,
yeah,
that's the other side of the
coin. I don't know. My personal feeling is that I think Enzo's right. It's a test balloon to see how people react. I think I don't think it's a hoax necessarily, but I don't think it's, it's hard for me to put it into words. I really don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think there's people on both sides blowing and going, and just we're going to play our part to the hilt. And the truth is always someplace in the middle.
Right. I think also this may tie in with what's going on with the World Economic Forum.
Now that I buy. That I definitely
buy. Produced emergency. I'm hearing rumors. I have nothing to validate it. I'm being transparent. That there's another virus coming. Is it worse? I don't know. Rumors I'm hearing that it may target children. Because of this distrust, people are not going to believe it. They're not going to follow along and all that. And I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. That's your personal choice. Enzo said he does feel bad for all the nurses and doctors out there. They're going to have to come up with an all new dance routines for their TikToks. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Again, this is rumors that I'm hearing and seeing. There's something new on the horizon, and I've heard some higher up. The names slip me now, but they're saying there's another vaccine emergency coming. So is this something? Are they testing the waters to see how people are going to react? And which I think is a possibility, like we've talked about. I don't know. I think we are dipping our toe into uncharted waters, because sure, we went through the vid. Anybody that has any common sense knows that it's not going to go away. You're going to have continual strains, just like the flu.
Just like the flu, just like the common cold.
Right. And I'm not trying to be conspiratorial. I'm really not. I'm trying to be objective for once, if that counts for anything.
You're doing a good job, Phil.
Well, I appreciate that. Now I'm going to jump over here to PolitiFact. That's another one. But yeah, this is another opinion piece. It says if your time is short, public health I can't read. Says variant-driven vid cases are increasing in a few U.S. schools, and businesses have temporarily reinstated mask mandates to mitigate the virus spread. Now, some are sounding alarm that more severe restrictions are on the horizons. Quote, they're going to bring back draconian lockdowns. They're going to bring back torturous mask mandates in schools, unquote. One person said in an August 21st TikTok video. They're going to bring back the, quote, they're going to bring back the injection mandates. They're going to close down churches. They're going to close down small businesses, unquote. Another video claimed if we let this lockdown happen, it's going to be permanent. Posts about the return of the vid lockdowns and mask mandates are trending wildly on social media, including TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter. We've seen these claims repeated by conservative commentators and politicians, including InfoWars founder and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and former President Donald Trump, Fox News host Laura Ingraham, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. You notice that's the big people with the targets on them. You know, at least two of them.
Yeah.
It says, but public health experts will reinstitute the nationwide mask mandates and travel restrictions that were common early in the pandemic. That's partially because there's significantly more widespread immunity today than there was after the virus first emerged. Several public health and health policy experts told PolitiFact that it's highly unlikely any level of government, local, state, or federal, will reinstate broad mask mandates or stay-at-home orders in response to COVID-19. We're just in a very, very different place now. Those measures were put into place several years ago, before we had a vaccine, before we had any kind of treatments for COVID. Oh, I messed up. We'll probably get banned now. Says Marcus Plecia, I think it's how you pronounce it, Chief Medical Officer for the Association of State and Territorial Health Officials. Immunity to the virus, either through vaccination or prior infection, is drastically higher now than it was at the pandemic's onset. About 81% of all Americans have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and the CDC reported in May, and the Food and Drug Administration approved Paxlovid as a treatment for the vid. Returning to early pandemic mandates would also wouldn't be effective, given today's political climate, experts say. It would be counterproductive from a public health standpoint to recommend or mandate restrictions to daily life that many people follow. That's a good point, said William Schaffner, infectious diseases professor at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. And that's a really long article. But you get the gist. I mean, they're saying that many experts are saying there won't be other lockdowns. I can see it. See Enzo, he says it's really set a bad precedent. If the next big plague is real and fatal, nobody will believe it because of all the lies and the foolishness. You're absolutely right.
Is the boy who cried wolf all over again? Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
And that's why I've been trying to look at it objectively. You know, I've got mixed feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
with my research, I'm finding mixed research.
Yep. I think what we're finding is research that fits your political views, just like in anything.
I think that's a lot of what I've seen.
You can go out and look for any topic and find any article that you can agree with. And like I said, I'm trying to remain objective in this show because, I mean, I think it needs to be taken seriously, but I don't think people need to live in fear of it because it's something that's here to stay.
Now, on that note, whether it's real or not, our listeners know what they should do. You should be prepared.
Yes.
Stock up on toilet paper. Don't go crazy. We don't need another toilet paper apocalypse. Stock up on toilet paper. Stock up on staples. You should keep 3 days worth of stuff on hand in any case, whether we're going to have an emergency or not. You should have the 3 days. But it won't hurt you to have 3 weeks worth of toilet paper. It's not going to hurt you to have 3 weeks worth of, preservable food. It's not going to hurt a darn bit. And it may not be something that comes along, but you know what? We could have a massive power outage. We could have solar flares. We could have anything. Our listeners know they need to be prepared. If you're prepared for one thing, you're prepared for all of them. Pretty much.
Yep.
That's what I took away from it.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I got something crawling on my foot.
It's a spider, Phil.
No, it's plastic filament. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah. Plastic filament from my 3D printer.
Did you see the spiders at work today? They were crazy. Every time I turned around, there was a spider crawling on something. Oh, well, you probably heard me scream like a girl once.
No, I kind of tune everybody out.
Oh, well, I did. I screamed like a little girl. I hate spiders.
Yeah.
Except tarantulas.
Mark, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the best thing you can do, we live through this, okay? You're absolutely right, Hens. I was about to say that. He said, yep, all the preppers were just sitting back and laughing at the noobs scrabbling for their toilet paper. If the pandemic did anything, it gave validity to the prepper movement.
Yeah. What are you going to do when it's all gone?
Right. It made people, oh crap, maybe these guys are onto something.
Install a bidet. It'll save you all kinds of.
It'll save you some raw skin.
That's right. Besides that, have you ever used a bidet? I want one.
I've not. No. I mean, the bathrooms at work kind of like work like that.
Clean,
but...
Yes. Yeah. They make you feel very clean. Clean is good. That doesn't make me a fat or French. It just makes me clean.
But yeah, I mean, I got a couple other articles. I mean, we've already pretty well covered it. One is from the London Telegraph, speaking out again, saying in the headline is Biden's plot to send America back into lockdown must be stopped. And I think a lot of that's what it is squeaky clean, Mark. I think that's a lot of what this is fear mongering. I hear a lot of people saying, well, this because the elections are coming. They want to be able to cheat and all that. That's debatable. I think it's valid, but it's debatable. Who knows? I mean, is it just as like the article said, is it a chance for the administration to declare a national emergency because the COVID emergency was declared over? Is it a chance for them to declare another national emergency so they can push through their agenda? because they're starting to realize people are getting tired of this crap. People are tired of spending all of their paychecks trying to stay alive. People's savings are drying up. And this, in my opinion, and in the future, I will give you evidence to why I believe this is the case. But the biggest thing is to be prepared in the eventuality, for any eventuality, as
it's
much
not
as you
hurt
can.
You a damn bit to be prepared.
No, it's not. There's ways around it, you know. I mean, my wife and I have done a lot in probably the past year and a half here. Not only to prepare, but to make it feasible to sustain. We've kind of turned things into our place in homestead. You know, we want to open it up to where people can come and say, hey, you know, can you help? That's kind of one of our points behind this. And sure, it wouldn't hurt to make a little bit of money off of it. I'm not going to lie. You know, and that's kind of another idea. Yeah, I would agree. And so he said, the only instance I'll wear my mask again is to go to the voting booth. I won't be happy, but I'll do it for that. Yes. You know, if you need to take the steps that you can take, if you haven't started preparing for whatever eventuality, whatever happens, please start. It's not going to get better. Yeah. I mean, you see the sun acting up, you know, the solar flares. We've touched on that here a few weeks ago. You know, new talks of another pandemic,
earthquakes,
excuse me,
fires.
Fires. I mean, look at Maui, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole. I've really started looking into that. And you're like, oh,
yeah, that's crap. I don't know.
That's a whole nother thing. I hope the next several episodes, it's going to be a series where we're going to really do a deep dive on this whole World Economic Forum stuff. I want to get my sources and notes and all that compiled, because we're going to try to compartmentalize to the different areas on which we are under attack. I mean, we're under attack, whether you guys realize it or not. We are financially big time right now. I mean, everybody's feeling the pinch. And for a lot of people to say, oh, the economy is doing great, you know, look at the numbers. Well, the numbers are wrong. And
they've been cooking the books since Obama.
Right. I would say even before that, Mark, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I didn't really start paying attention really till Obama.
If you figured unemployment the way they did in the 80s, then when we had unemployment under the Obama administration, and they're saying it was 14%, you were really looking at closer to 50%. Because they figured it different. Oh, it's
right.
Record improvement.
Enzo, you're absolutely right.
Because you're cooking the books.
Yeah. Well, it's just like they're saying there's no inflation, but they're not figuring like grocery prices and gas prices and all that. They're not figuring that into the equation. Let's see. Enzo, he just made a comment. Wintertime's coming up soon. Nothing wrong with having a little extra food at home in case of bad weather. You're absolutely right. That's,
you know, what else?
I mean, prepare for that.
It wouldn't hurt you to go buy a 5-gallon gas can and a bottle of Sta-Bil and fill that up and stick it in the garage just in case. I used to do that all the time. I would buy 5 gallons of gas every winter, put Sta-Bil in it. Then over the summer, I would use it in my lawnmower to get rid of it, and then I would fill it up again, and then I would have that for just in cases.
Yeah, that's not a bad
for
deal.
my generator or what have you.
If you look at the forecast, I watched a lot of this guy on YouTube. The channel is Ryan Hall, y'all. He's been pretty spot on about the forecast and things that are happening. You know, you got hurricanes blowing right now. Hurricane Lee is a major storm, was a Cat 5, dropped down to a Cat 3, and they're talking about it intensifying again. Now they're saying it may hit the Northeast. And if you're listening from up there, pay attention to what's going on. I mean, it's going to be a rough storm. Get ready. With his way out forecast, you know, for winter and all that, like our area, they're calling for cold and snowy. And I hope it does. I love snow. I
love it as long as I don't have to shovel it. Now that I don't work at the school and I'm not responsible for shoving all that snow, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. But if I was still working at the school, I'd be fist fighting
you. But yeah, I mean, they're calling for, with this El Nino, you know, coming into play, and they're calling for a below average weather, you know, or below average temperatures and higher precipitation, which we need.
We do.
Lord knows we need it. It's bad right now here. I mean, the drought kicked back in. We had some pretty decent rain early on this summer.
Yeah, I know people who got 2 hay crops in. I mean, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Right. But
we didn't
my
get
yard's
the
burned up.
Excess that we really need to fill up our ponds and stuff.
Yeah, no, we need some good frog stranglers to fill the ponds up, because they're seriously low.
They're bad.
But yeah, in the case of another lockdown or whatever, there's going to be there's already pushback coming. Several states, I want to say, let me look it up. I know several states have come out and already passed laws for anti-lockdowns, anti-mask mandates.
Yeah, I'd heard that. I really think the only lockdown that we're going to see is because we're snowed in, because we got 5 foot of snow.
Yes.
Honestly, I honestly think that's the only lockdowns we're going to see in this part. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see some employers or some stores reinstituting on a case-by-case basis. But
no, I
don't
wouldn't
see any. I don't see anything widespread. I really don't. I could be wrong, although, because I often am, but that's my prediction. For whatever reason.
Yeah, Texas is one. That's all I'm seeing right here right now. Most recently, let's see. Here we go. On AARP. Yeah, Alabama, vaccine and testing regulations bars local government, schools, businesses from requiring proof of the vaccination. Alaska, same thing. Arizona, see. Yep, same thing, but mask regulation. Districts and local governments cannot require anyone under the age of 18 to wear a mask without parental consent. Arkansas, sign a bill that prohibits state and local agencies from requiring proof of vaccination to travel. Mask regulations, same thing. Let's see, Colorado. They're just talking about ending the requirements. Connecticut. Florida. There's a whole bunch of states out there. I mean, you just have to look it up. Yeah, there's a bunch of states already fighting back and pushing back. So we're not doing that, and we're not going to implement that in our state.
Yeah, I don't want to see mandates.
No, I like to see the states standing up and saying, no, we're not going to follow you. We absolutely disagree
10th Amendment and all that. Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to see any mandates now. Like I said, if you're elderly or have a compromised immune system, by all means do so. Do the research and learn how to do it right so it actually does you some good. I mean,
and I've said it several times. If you feel the need to wear a mask, get vaccinated, I'm not going to judge you. Yeah, that is a personal choice that you have to make. What I disagree with is being mandated that I have to do this.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm my own person. You can't force me to do something I don't want to do. And I hope that people will stand. I truly do.
Well, that's why everybody was wearing the gaiters, is because it met the requirements but wasn't doing anything.
Right. That's why I wore it. I mean, we had to wear them at work and all that, and it's not going to stop it.
I kept mine because I'm bald and I get cold head, but I don't.
I think I've used mine for more rags than anything right now. I mean, they're not bad. It'd be all right to hunt with.
Yeah.
And it is hunting season. Fired off. Dove season is not very good right now. Moving into duck and deer and all that good stuff. So I'm going to try to stock our freezer with that. Having a good time. Man, I really don't have a lot else. I wanted to try to be as objective as possible tonight, and I hope that came true.
Same. I think we've actually done a really good job of covering both sides of it. I'm like I said, you said it best. You're on the fence. I don't know what's going to happen. I have some guesses, but that's all they are, is guesses. I could be right. I could be wrong. And Lord knows I'm ugly.
Well, thanks, Chris. She said you guys did well. We do want to make a quick announcement. If you're near the area, or if you're in earshot of this show, make plans to come to the Bordertown Paracon September 30th in Caney, Kansas.
It is going to be a good time. We got lots of speakers.
You'll be able to see Mark and I's lovely faces. You'll be able to see the Amok group. Let's see. Obviously, Jess, Pam, they'll be there. Trying to think what else. Enzo, I think he's planning on being there. So if you want to meet Enzo in person, he should be there.
You know what? I will share some of our flyers up on our Facebook group so people can see them if we haven't already. I know I've been sharing them on my page.
Yeah, I think Jess has been sharing them. If not, I mean, feel free to share. I made her and Pam an admin. So,
and yes, Enzo, I'll be glad to give you my autograph. Except put the checkbook away.
But yeah, definitely come check it out. It's a great time, great people. A lot of interesting stories and information. I mean, I've had a great time. I've been there the last 2 years. Is that right, Mark? That sound
Everybody
right?
is so friendly.
Yeah.
Nobody judges.
And that what amazed me last year was the audience participation.
Yeah.
People sharing their own experiences and asking questions, and that was amazing to me. Because it's an open forum. And it's just all around a lot of fun.
Remind me to tell you about the Dogman sighting over here.
The Dogman sighting?
There was a Dogman sighting. They were describing it, and I looked over at the girls. I said, "That's Dogman," and it's right over here in Tyro.
I'm sorry. I don't know if it's my internet or your internet, but you just blanked out.
Okay. Yeah, there was a Dogman sighting recently in this area. I will tell you about it.
Oh, really? Yeah, I want to hear
it. When they were describing it, they weren't sure what they saw, and I looked over at the girls and said, "That's Dogman. That's absolutely Dogman."
Huh.
So, yes, Enzo, you can hear those.
No. Yeah, I don't know if my internet's on Fritz or if it's yours. I don't know.
It's probably both of them. It's both of them.
Yeah, it could be. But yeah, definitely come check it out. It's well worth it. I mean, it's especially for a small town, small area. Yeah, it's well worth coming and hanging out.
Philip has been.
It just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it almost doubles every year. So if it doubles this year, we're going to have quite a crowd.
Yeah, so that'd be great. Y'all, I mean, I know, and I'm going to pitch this too. I mean, I know Jess and Pam, they put a ton of work into this. So if you want to donate, that helps them because this is all out of pocket. This is nothing.
This is a labor of love, people. Like that.
Yeah. So yeah, please donate to them as well. Right.
Labor of love, but we won't turn down the help.
Right. So, I mean, a lot of work goes into it. Last year, I know it seemed like as soon as it was over, planning started for the next year.
Everybody was so excited.
Yeah.
Speakers,
so it's well worth it,
public.
Guys. Go.
So, all right. Yeah. Well, I think I've
and, on that note, I also want to say, due to getting ready for the Paracon, Mark and I are going to be taking a break for the next couple of weeks. That way, all the attention can be focused where it needs to go, and that's the Paracon, to give you guys the best show and the best experience. That, and it gives me time to compile a lot of information for what we're going to hit you with after we get back in October. And there's a lot of deep information. So,
but still check us out on Mondays. I am going to post some of our older shows pre-video for people's perusal on Facebook and probably YouTube as well. You can listen to how bad we were, but we did have a lot of good information. So I think you all will enjoy it. Some flashbacks. So,
yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun. We did have some really good shows. I mean, badly presented maybe, but
some really good information.
They were good shows. Yeah. So we look forward to doing that, and I hope you guys look forward to seeing some older shows. That way, you don't have to dig through our extensive library. I mean, we're well over 100 episodes now. I haven't broke down how many we're on but all together we're well over 100.
Oh yeah.
3 years into it, it's been a lot of fun. Met some great people, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't have a lot more, so
I don't either. Everybody in the chat, thanks for hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun.
It is always fun.
Hope it wasn't too deep. Yeah, hope it wasn't too deep information. If you guys want to reach out to us, you got questions, comments, concerns, email us whatiftomorrowpc@gmail.com. Yeah, and if you want, join us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Now we're streaming Twitch too, so come over and join us there. With that being said, folks, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you next episode.
Good night.